Hello and welcome back to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming. In this video we are going through the Warhammer 40,000 announcements and reveals from the preview online. I think it was called Shadow, Iron and Broken Realms. And I've got to be honest, I was surprised that there was this many reveals for 40k. I thought there'd be like one cheeky one. One that I thought they would do, like this Necron guy with the video that we have playing in the background. I love this video. I think it's very cool. I love how they just have a bit of fun with it. So this guy is the Hexmark Destroyer, and he's fallen to the Destroyer curse and wants nothing other than to kill absolutely everything around him. He has 6 guns and 6 eyes, 3 legs, and just looks like just super cool. I assumed that this model was going to be more like a sneaky, stealthy thing that can like teleport in and move really quickly, have really high like dodge, so you can't really hit him very well. I was wrong. Instead, we get this awesome 6 Armed Monstrosity. I love it. When they were talking about it on the stream, I was like, oh, I love the background. It's like one of those ones, a model that's fallen to the Deathmark curse and is just had enough with all life and just wants to destroy everything. So what better way to just load up on guns? And it seems like the rules are very, very strong for this. I think it's a roll to hit is 2+, and you can reroll ones. So you're pretty much guaranteed to hit with everything. So I really like it. So we got some images here, some close-ups. Yeah, I'm going to pick this one up. I think it's really cool. So it actually has 7 eyes. So this is going to be coming out after the Codex launches in October. So that's more information, and I did read somewhere on one of the other Warhammer community sites that the Codexes are coming out in October. I think that was to do with the app updates. So the rules for the Space Marines and Necrons Codex would be available in October. So that's what we got. So we got even more news that I didn't even pay attention to at the time. So yeah, I love that model. I think it's just such a cool model, and I'm keen to get my hand on 1 or 2 or 8. They also, and this is where I thought that was enough. Okay, I'm cool. I'm happy with that for 40k. That's what I was expecting, and that was all because I was really excited for all the other IP lines and games. But then we got some more books for 40k. First one we have here is a mission pack for Beyond the Veil, which is sort of a Crusade expansion. So it's set in the Pariah Nexus, and you can take your Crusade force in there and play Pariah Nexus themed battles, which I think is really cool. So you have a whole bunch of stuff in there. There's very specific missions, very specific battle scars for that area, different relics and items that you can get, and generally storytelling in a whole new way for that specific location of the galaxy. And they talked about this on the stream as well. They were like, this just opens up so many opportunities for different locations. Like you could have some Crusade mission pack for In the Eye of Terror, which would be completely different to the Pariah Nexus, or they excuse me, they refer to the Planet of the Sorcerers, which would be just drowned in psychic powers, stuff on a orc infested planet or something like that. I just think there's so much potential there, and I'm actually really excited just to see what's in it, because we do know in the codexes for Space Marines and Necrons, when they showed that off, there were a few shots where it had a big Crusade focus. I think almost a third of the book was Crusade. I think you get the lore, the rules, and Crusade. So they're really pushing Crusade, and I really love it. So that's really quite interesting. So then they also revealed another book, chapter approved, Tactical Deployment. So it contains 18 new match play missions, but what you can do, you can bring your own terrain. And I was like, that's a bit weird. Why do that? But then I started thinking about it, and they were talking on the stream why that's actually a good thing in many ways. Firstly, it's good for the company because it wants you to buy terrain. Makes sense. But when you go to a tournament, the onus on the tournament runners isn't to provide every single thing that you need. So if you have a tournament with, they gave the example of, I think it was 100 people or 50 people. Let's go with 100 people. If you have 100 people in a tournament, you essentially have to have at least 50 tables and that has to be full of terrain. That is a lot to deal with from an organization perspective and also a monetary perspective. The organizers of the tournament need to provide all that terrain. Now, if you have a system where you can bring your own terrain, that just means the tournament runners can focus on running the tournament, not making sure that the tables are all set up correctly, that everyone has terrain. Because I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe even last year, there was a big tournament and there was very big backlash about the terrain that was used. It was just almost slapped together at the last few minutes. I think there was even some just polystyrene thrown down. And it's a massive effort. If you want to run a good tournament, a decent sized tournament, even a small tournament, you want to have terrain that's well suited for the games, that's painted, that's good quality, because players want that experience. They don't want to, if they want to play on like boxes and tin cans and things like that and Pringle containers, they can do that at home. That's not what you go to a tournament for. So very quickly I was like, oh, this is a brilliant idea. So the idea is like, you can bring 3 pieces of terrain, your opponent brings 3 pieces of terrain, and then the rules in tactical deployment allow you to set out the terrain to make sure it's fair. But the other thing is, you can theme the terrain. So it makes sense that you have your army and you have your themed terrain. You could just say you have a Death Guard or a Nurgle army. You could get some of the new terrain, whatever they call it, I can't remember now, but all those pipes and ruins and just Nurgle it up. Or if you're a Necron player, you can bring very specific Necron themed terrain specific to your Necron army or what dynasty you've chosen for that. So it just suddenly, this very simple thing has almost added this extra element to the hobby. Yes, terrain was always big and it's always important, but it was like, okay, we've got terrain, there we go, done. Now you can really make the terrain your own, and I really love that. So yeah, and they love it. They say here, it also makes it easier for event organizers and clubs to run tournaments. No need to paint 500 ruins, which is awesome. So run tactical deployment event, provide tables and a roof, and participants bring the rest. I think it's really good for all those reasons that I mentioned. So I really do like it. So speaking of terrain, they are making this easy. Now you have what's the Battle Zone Manufactorum Vertigus, or Vertigus, I'm not sure how they pronounced it. Basically, it has 2 double-side gaming boards, so the cardboard ones, and then a whole bunch of terrain. So if you got the Command Edition expansion, Battlefield expansion, it has most of this in it. So that had 1 set of pipes, 1 set of buildings and ruins, I always forget what it's called, the shrine, the thermo extractor shrine. But this one has more pipes. I think it actually has more ruins as well. 1 thermo extractor shrine, but it also comes with the auto choral transmitter, which is sort of just, I guess, blocking terrain, really. I'm sure it might have some function on there. They didn't refer to anything about that, but that's a really good kit. And it ties in with, hey, I'm going to a tournament, I'll just buy some stuff like that. I think it's a very, very smart move. So I'm very interested in that as well. I'm not going to talk about Heresy because that's 30k and I'm not really into the Horus Heresy stuff. But what I want to do is talk about Necromunda. I was thinking about putting this in its own video, but we've only been going for about 9 minutes, so let's throw it in. We knew this was going to be revealed. Ages ago, they talked about the roadmap for Necromunda, and House of Iron was going to be next for 4th quarter of 2020. So they revealed it. It looks pretty cool. I love the books. I have a PDF copy of the House of Chains, and it just adds so much more lore. It just gives you context for the gangs and why the gangs exist and the entire world, so I love it. So I'm very excited to read this book just for the lore. I love the lore of Necromunda. It's like this tiny single, not even a single planet, it's a single location on a planet. Yes, a rather big location on a planet, but it has so much content there and so much lore. And then you have the entire galaxy. So you could go to another hive tower on Necromunda. You're going to have a whole different culture. And I really love that. It gives me so many ideas for that. So as with this release, they do have a new box set. which this has 8 new models in it. So the Orlock, Arms Masters, and Wreckers. And I think these are really cool. They haven't done something like this, rules-wise, I mean. Maybe they have, I'm not 100% sure. But you get 4 characters in here, 4 models that have jump packs, which is super crazy. I really love it. Well, jump boosters, so they can jump up high, jump down low. And I think that's really cool. And they've all got like explosives because they're a mining house. And they're just jumping around. I really like these models. And I love the paint jobs on these, how they've got iron, but it's all starting to corrode and rust and everything. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. Then we have the 2 other Arms Masters. So the first one has, I think it's an auto shotgun, I'm not sure. Or an auto gun, something like that. Pointing that model, the stance of that model is really cool. I like it. It's like pointing out, like, I'm coming for you. I love the Orlock design, just the armor there. It's very simple, like just some extra extruded lines, but it just adds so much character to it. So we have that one, but then we have this one, and I want to get the box just for this model. This is the man with an arc hammer, 2 giant metal gloves, and an exoskeleton suit. I think this is amazing. I really don't know much more about it. I just love the design. It's just expanding upon that. From the 90s you had the gang and that was it, and even on the stream they were talking about how it's just, they're just sort of reskinned, slightly different stats. They're nothing much. You bought a warband and played a gang, not a warband. You played a gang because they looked cool and you like the look of the models, but now you have so much variation, and it all ties back to their lore. Like, this guy has giant fists and an exosuit and a hammer. He's like an iron worker. He's beating down rocks and punching rocks and kicking in rocks to kind of find all the iron that they need. So I'm really excited for that. So there are some very cool releases. Oh, how could I forget? The best models, the best boys, the 2 doggos, the 2 canines. What can you say? They're really cool, like robo-dogs. Why wouldn't, like, people saying in the chat on the live stream, they're going to buy the box just for these guys. I can't believe I forgot them. Yeah, there needs to be more sort of animal pets and familiars. People saying, like, commissaires will take them for the Imperial Guard. I think that's such a good idea. I think these models are good. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I just wish there were more. I mean, I wouldn't want to run a whole unit of them or a whole gang, but, just like 1 or 2. I think it's really cool. So, there we go. I have nothing bad to say about any of these releases. I've been trying to think of what can I say? The only thing I'm going to say is, like, the prices of things. I think the new battle box for Vertigus is going to be expensive. It is what it is. The box of Orlocks, that would be about 74 Australian, going off the previous Escher and Goliath releases. The rulebooks probably be expensive, but that's about the same amount. I think the 2 rulebooks themselves open up so many possibilities. For the Crusade Beyond the Veil, that just opens up possibilities of where they can take this, where they can take narrative gaming. And it just sort of sets up ideas for having big narrative campaigns. Like, I'm sure in this Crusade book they're not really doing that. It's just, here's a setting that you can fight in, and here's rewards or battle scars for things themed to that war place, that war zone. But in the future, you could have ones that, this is a huge galaxy spanning war. Here's the rulebook for it. Awesome. They kind of do that, but I think with Crusade it'd be really cool. The tactical deployment one, I think, is very good for people who play match play and tournaments. I think it's a brilliant idea. It encourages more tournaments. And yes, at the moment it is really difficult to do that, but it is setting up for things in the future when the world kind of gets back to normal. I'm very happy. And this is why I needed to split up all these preview videos, when normally you just do one video and it's fine, but there was so much content. Like, I've blabbered on for 15 minutes just on the 40k stuff. And I feel like I really skimmed over the Necromunda stuff. I don't think there was any more 40k, but yeah, that's it. Tell me what's your favorite. I'm very undecided. I think I'm gonna have to go the Necromunda ones for 40k. I love it. Big man with big gloves and an iron mask too. Didn't even notice that. With kind of a cool haircut. I like it. So that's it. Leave a comment with your favorite. Definitely subscribe if you're new, because we have this content coming out, you know, every day, every other day. And yeah, I will catch you later in the next video.